Hello and welcome back to Dragonfire Designs, and today we're going to take a look at the oftentimes controversial topic of whitening vintage Star Wars figures. Now before we really get going today, I'm just going to quickly address the fact that this process is oftentimes frowned upon in the vintage Star Wars figure community because there are concerns over whether or not some of the chemicals used to restore and bring back the white finish to these yellowed and aged figures can possibly damage the plastic and speed up its deterioration over time. Now, in my reading on the internet and watching other YouTube videos, I've seen a lot of back and forth about this, and a lot of the people who have gone ahead and tried this have expressed that they've not experienced adverse effects on their figures over a long period of time. Others insist that the plastic is going to become more brittle. I thought the best way to really learn about this would be to try and do an experiment myself and take a look. So I found some figures that were already kind of in beater conditions, so no huge loss should anything occur, and if it's successful, well, then they'll look great on the shelf. So let's just dive right in here and take a look. Now I've got a pretty worn out Stormtrooper figure here that has some discoloration and yellowing on the limbs. This often occurs because of normal wear and tear when children play with it. The finger oils tend to accumulate more on the limbs. Hopefully that can show up here, and you can see that it has some yellow discoloration. I've gone ahead and cleaned it with some soap and warm water. I want to make sure that we get off any surface dirt, because that can act as a resist and a barrier when we go ahead and treat this. And for comparison's sake, I've got two cloud car pilots. Now you can see that the figure here is very nice. White condition. Looks like he came right out of the package. Whereas his friend here has a lot of discoloration and yellowing. So we're going to see if I can get this figure to look as nice as this one. Now there are several processes that I've read up on. One process involves submerging the figures entirely in a solution of hydrogen peroxide and leaving that out in the sunlight for several days. Another one that I read about that I really like in particular is using a product here. I'll show you Salon Care Volume 40 Cream. And this has hydrogen peroxide in it, but because it's a cream, you can apply it to the surface of the figure where you want to. In the case of the Stormtrooper, I'll be doing it to the arms and the legs, and I'll pretty much cover this figure here. And it can be left out in the sun, and I believe I've read that it takes a little bit less time. Now I live out in Southern California, and right now at the time of filming this video it is over 100 degrees outside in direct sunlight. So we're gonna use this method and see what we get. So I'm going to go ahead and give the figures a coating, and then we're going to put them out in our 104 degree Southern California sunlight. And we're going to check on them every half an hour, see how they do. Okay, so here is the results after only having been left out for, now get this, a half an hour. Mind you, again, this was done out in Southern California sun, and originally I thought it was 104 degrees. By the time I put them out in the sunlight, it was actually 106 degrees outside in the direct sunlight. So that may have had a factor in this, but again, this was only a half an hour. Now this was the untreated figure that was in really, really good condition. This was the yellowed figure, and you can see that just a half an hour out in the sun with the peroxide on it, and it's almost as white as the figure that was in really pristine condition. and the difference in the Stormtrooper is just amazing. So I don't doubt that if I had left this Cloud Car Pilot out maybe even for another half an hour, I could have gotten even better results. I didn't want to push things, but I would have to say that the use of the Salon Care 40 yielded some pretty excellent results. I'm going to obviously keep an eye on these figures. Maybe I'll do an update a month from now just to see if there's any further deterioration of the plastic, if it affected it in any way, if it re-yellows. We'll revisit this and take a look. But for now, I would have to say that using the Salon Care 40 to whiten the figures was a success. Hope you enjoyed this video, and please don't forget to subscribe and like. It helps me grow the channel and lets me know that you're enjoying what I'm doing. Thank you very much, and hopefully this taught you a little bit about what you can do if you need to restore any of your figures.